All right. Let me start. Okay. All right. So, Will,
Yes.
Casino Royale came out 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Yeah. So the new Bond movie is coming out or came out already. But
Yeah.
what we want to do is we want to go from the beginning and watch to the current, because 15 years is kind of long to remember storylines and characters.
Yeah, especially when it seems like the newer film like actually calls all the way back to like the first couple of movies.
Yeah.
So
yeah, even the last one, I remember watching the last one when it came out, and like we were saying the other night, like I have no idea who any of those people are. It's
right.
like a major character reveal, and I was like, no idea.
No, I know. No, I'm right there with you because it just didn't. I don't know. They're good movies. It's just, I think it was just in a time. I think it was just in a time period where, it came out. The first one came out. This one, Casino Royale, in the United States, it came out November 17th. Just like a few days ago was the 15th anniversary.
How did we plan that?
I know, but but the interest, the thing you think about is just a couple of years later, not even like a year and a half later, Iron Man comes out. So I think the Marvel universe sort of like dominated our like, oh wow, what's this doing? And then intermixed was like, here's some Bond movies.
Yeah.
And I think just as you and I personally, not everybody, we're just more invested in what was going on in the Marvel universe rather than
that's crazy
what was happening in the Bond universe.
That's crazy. I didn't remember that was the same time period at all.
Yeah. I mean, this came out a year and a half before the original Iron Man movie.
Yeah. Because like last night we watched Casino Royale last night on DVD.
Right.
The trailer for Spider-Man 3.
I know.
And I was like,
I think that came out
showing this.
Yeah, I think it came out in 2017. I think it came out the summer of 2017. Which makes sense because usually DVD releases are like 3.5 months after the premiere. So you're looking at probably like a March release on DVD, and it was probably like 2 or 3 months from Spider-Man. I should look it up quick.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That time frame doesn't even seem like it was that long ago. But also
May 4th.
Trailer, May 4th.
So it was 6 months after this movie came out, Spider-Man 3 came out.
That's interesting though, because so Marvel basically after that they continued to do like major March releases.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because they, like beat for beat, we kind of like don't think about it, but it's like the X-Men movies hit.
Yeah.
And I think 2000 was the first one. And then it was just a string of Marvel movies. You had like, you had your ups and downs in them, but they were just all coming out. And all of a sudden, 2018 or 2008 came out, was like Iron Man, which was still like in the like Marvel phase of things, but it was like a different happening. And then realizing that, looking back, it was just like, okay, it's just another random superhero movie that didn't mean anything.
But it was literally the beginning of an entire era.
Exactly. Not knowing it at the time.
Oh. Wow, that's great. That's great. We got to talk about that at some point too.
Yeah, I'd like to, like, honestly, I've done it probably twice now, but I'd like to sit and watch everything chronologically, even the shows, like do.
Oh yeah.
I know Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that stuff is like up in the air, and the Netflix stuff is up in the air.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like you have at least Agent Carter is still in there because of Jarvis is in Endgame.
Oh yeah.
And a couple other things, but anyway, just like sitting and watching all of it, like all the way through again, and like talking about it, like having, essentially more knowing where it's going and like what they call back to and just all that stuff.
Yeah. I know we should do that before we get invested in like phase 2. The second.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I don't. What do they call that phase? It's like phase 4.
I think this is phase 4. I think the Shang-Chi and Eternals and Black Widow. I think that's all phase 4. I think so. Which doesn't. In my mind, it doesn't make any sense. I feel like this is like phase 6, but
yeah,
I guess to them it's different.
I also I look at like Iron Man 1 to Endgame being like phase 1.
That's what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as like cinematic,
I divide it by the Avenger movies. So like Iron Man to 2012 Avengers is like phase 1. Phase 2 is like I think it's Iron Man 3 to Age of Ultron, and then like Ant-Man to Endgame is like phase 3. I don't think that's exactly how they look at it, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, no, that would.
But I think this is legitimately phase 4 because I think at the end of the trailer thing that they promoted, I don't know, a while ago, they had the 4 thing at the end of it.
Yeah, because they're literally teasing it's phase 4, but they're also teasing Fantastic Four.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, we could talk about Marvel all day long.
Yeah, this is podcast 1 is just talking about Marvel
so
and how much we enjoy it. Nothing specific.
To set up the James Bond trilogy, we have to dig into how Iron Man got started.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So let me give you some fun facts that you'll appreciate. So we had November 17th, 2006 was the release date in the United States. It came out a couple days earlier in the United Kingdom.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So the movie Casino Royale is based off of the Ian Fleming 1953 novel of the same. Okay. Here's what's interesting about it is came out April 13th, 1953, but it's like exactly the same.
Really?
The Le Chef is in it, Vesper Lind, Felix Leiter, Renee Mathis, like all the characters are the same people in the book. It's not like some screenwriter like thought up new stuff. In just kind of reading the synopsis on Wikipedia, it's interesting because they say he's a bankrupt treasurer and he's gambling at the casino. It's actually kind of interesting that the book apparently must closely-ish follow the film.
That's interesting. That's cool.
And then go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's cool. I really appreciate when movies do that, where they follow the book that most people haven't read.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, 53 years later, they're following. This book was made, or they made the movie about it.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, I didn't realize it. I thought about it last night. We were watching it, looking up the director. His name is Martin Campbell, and he's done a handful of movies that we know. He did the Zorro movies with Antonio Banderas and stuff. But the cool thing is, he did GoldenEye. He did the 95 GoldenEye with Pierce Brosnan.
Wow.
So kind of cool. He didn't do any other Bond movies. He didn't do any of the later Daniel Craig movies.
Interesting. I wonder why they would hire him for one like that.
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, it says the year prior he had done the sequel to the Antonio Banderas Zorro movie, so perhaps the studio really liked him.
I forgot there was.
I don't know. That movie probably did well. Let me see. Is it the same? Yes, it's a Sony. So Zorro was a Sony movie, so Sony probably picked him up for the Bond movie.
Interesting. Yeah, like we were saying last night, we didn't realize that Sony owned the rights to.
Yeah, I had no idea. But it must be the American side of it, because you would think that with it being a British property, that there must be some sort of company that I know they write Ian Productions on it, but I don't know if that's really anything. But it says so it was $150 million to make the movie, and they made at the box office $616.5 million. So they made like over $400 million. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. That's crazy. And you probably don't know off the top of your head, but what was the last Bond movie? Was a Pierce Brosnan movie?
Yeah, Die Another Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to look up like how well that did?
Well, no, I just was wondering how long it had been between Bond movies.
Oh, mm-hmm. Looks like almost exactly 4 years.
4. Okay.
Yeah, it was November 22nd. So I think literally we're almost on the 19th anniversary of that
Wow.
movie. But yeah, but it didn't do quite as well. It was 142 million for that, and it only made 431. So that's
I think everybody was sick of Pierce at that point.
yeah, I don't know. There were a lot. I remember watching the movie, and there were like the story is interesting, but like I remember the special effects were kind of not great.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's why people didn't see it.
No, we were kind of joking about that last night. Like we were trying to remember all the names of the Pierce Brosnan ones, and like GoldenEye, The World Was Not Enough was like pretty much all
Right.
the major ones that you kind of remember. I don't know. Maybe we were just too young at that point or something.
Probably. I mean,
I
probably.
remember.
Yeah.
Because I think like we were saying, like I was saying, The World Is Not Enough was probably like the first Bond movie I remember like seeing like in theaters.
Yeah. 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 I think the first one I saw was in theaters. The first, the GoldenEye, and I think if it's The World Is Not Enough is the second one.
Yeah.
I saw those at home. I saw them like on Blockbuster rent, like to rent or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think whatever we said, Tomorrow Never Dies. I think whatever the third movie was, I saw that.
Yeah.
Whatever that one was.
Yeah, I can't even remember.
But I didn't see Die Another Day in theaters. I saw that again on home, video to rent type of thing. So
yeah.
But anyways.
All right. Yeah. So the intro to Casino Royale.
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot that it was Chris Cornell, the song.
Yeah. It was pretty wild that that like he ends up singing it, because I think he had just left Soundgarden. I think.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know for sure. So I don't know if he was is that what yeah, that's the band. Yeah. I'm trying to think when did he split?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember.
Sure.
Because he only died a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was only like I think 5 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe 4. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
So it honestly wasn't that long after Casino Royale. Then, well, I mean, it's been 15 years, but still, it's
no,
10,
not
10
at
years.
all. I think like 10 or 11 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, it's an amazing song for the intro.
Yeah, and the cool thing is I think I don't want to say all of them. I don't want to say all of them. I feel like it's all of them, but I think all the other most of the Bond songs, the person says like the title of the movie.
Yeah.
Right. And he doesn't say Casino Royale. And
no.
It's like,
that's kind of hard to work into a song.
Right. Right. So it's actually, it's one, I think it's one of the rare Bond songs that like is just an original, kind of like an original song that kind of can do what it wants. It doesn't have to like keep to this type of like theme of like, oh, well, it has to kind of deal with, dying or the world or whatever the title of the thing is.
It's cool because it's kind of like a rock. It's kind of like a rock song, but it's also like somber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has a really good mixture of the two.
Yeah, and I love the cinematography of like the cards, because like I was telling you last night, they basically were like, the movie's about poker, and the guy's like, all right, got it. I know what to do for the intro.
Yeah,
and all these symbolisms of like loading spades into like clips and shooting hearts, and he's shooting diamonds.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he uses like diamonds as knives, and there's like a thing there's a part in the movie where or in the intro where the lyrics are something about veins. I don't remember exactly what it was, and it shows like the card design like splitting, and then like,
and all the hearts coming out.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. Even when it shows him like punching like people, they like kind of like split apart into like diamonds or
Oh yeah,
shades quick,
yeah.
and then they come back together.
I was thinking before they played the intro to the Chris Cornell movie or Chris Cornell intro. It's like the first time we see um, James Bond not being 007. He's
Right.
not a double. You know what I mean? It's like I don't think they really ever did that in the other movies. Where
No, he's
he's like
always
base. Yeah.
yeah, he's always been like established as like a
Right.
Bond.
Exactly.
Been doing it for years.
Right. So it was kind of an interesting thing, and I think what lended to the feeling that this was like trying to think of the wording, but like it lended to the feeling that this was not Bond. They made it black and white. And I think by making it black and white, it stood out that like the colored stuff is like that's James Bond, that's that. And the black and white stuff is like it's not really James Bond. It's
Yeah.
like an agent learning to become James Bond.
Yeah, and I love the intro too because it's you have to have two kills to be issued Bond status.
Yeah.
007 status.
Yeah.
And he says I have two, but he's literally talking to the guy that he's about to have.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's a really, I don't know, it's a cool thing, and I think it ended up being, it was like the number two guy he had taken out like his henchman or hitman or
It was his
they were connected to each other.
Yeah, I think it was his informant.
Oh, okay.
I think because I almost think that second guy he worked for MI6 or he was like a main guy. I can't remember.
Gotcha.
But it was like his informant, and he was like a dirty guy. So he took out his informant to get to him. But I like that line there where the guy that he's about to shoot, he says, he's asking him, oh, how did he die? And he says, not good.
Right. Yeah.
And he says, oh yeah, did he make you feel it? And just as he's about to tell him, like, oh yeah, the second one's easy. Much easier.
Right.
He takes him out and he says, yeah, considerably. So it's already kind of setting up that like he's this first, obviously the first one, it's like kind of hard. And then after that, it's kind of showing how he gets his, shell.
Right, exactly.
So, like, to be a Bond, he kind of has to be kind of a jerk after that.
Yeah, it's interesting. The whole film, I mean, even with the black and white stuff, and then as the movie progresses, it's really like a showing of James Bond like becoming like not being humiliated, but he's like super arrogant.
Yeah.
And then he's like molded into this person that we as like the audience are used to James Bond being. He's always like this. He's suave, he's debonair, he's very like, oh, he always knows what's going on. He's never caught off guard, really.
Right.
I think that it was an interesting molding of the character.
I like that. I like showing his like how he's super smart and he's really good at what he does, but he's still learning.
Exactly.
It's a couple like things here and there that like a normal Bond wouldn't. Bond is always supposed to be like 2-3 steps ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
And he almost is there, but he gets taken advantage of a couple times.
Right.
Yeah. I just like seeing that for the character, because like you said, by the end of the movie, not like to get too far ahead, but like at the end of the movie when he shows up at Mr. White and he's got this huge. Already gotten. He's figured out who the guy is.
Right.
Already, he's at his house waiting for him. That's that's Bond.
That's Bond. Right. Exactly.
Way ahead of you. You don't think he's on to you. He's way ahead of you.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I love seeing like a hero get his like powers essentially. Like
like who he becomes who he's supposed to be. Right.
Yeah. Not that Bond's a hero, but
right. I mean,
a hired gun essentially, but
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So, all right. So we both got a bunch of notes here.
Okay.
I don't want to go like scene for scene.
Okay.
Even though we kind of took notes scene for scene.
Okay.
Maybe we could just break it down into like a few of like the major things that we enjoy about the movie, or 3 or 4.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so I'm trying to think. There were a couple things. Yeah, it's hard because I wrote it down. So the thing I took away from a lot of it was some of the major things that I didn't really think about until they were playing it out on scene was he ends up like the guy in the beginning that I didn't fully catch like why he was dealing with the guy with touching his ear and he was getting mad at him.
Oh yeah.
I don't really know why he needed him or why he was
Yeah.
involved, but it was one of those things that it was like, why did you ever like deal with this guy? He was like really terrible to the point where you don't ever see him again in the movie.
No.
He doesn't like help Bond like chase down the guy. He does nothing. He's just like, oh yeah, he's this thing. He's like, stop doing that, and then he falls into the pit, and it's just like, see you later. So I didn't really understand. I didn't understand like in the movie why he was a thing, and I also didn't understand in a story point of view why would Bond like pick that guy?
Need a guy, yeah. I don't know. It's almost like he isn't a 00 yet. It's almost like he's training, or he's
Yeah, exactly. That's what I kind of thought. I thought like, oh well, maybe he didn't get the 00 status yet, and then like I think soon into that like it says, oh he has it. I don't know if I wrote it down. I don't know. I didn't write down like when exactly it was said he got it, but it was clear that when he was chasing the guy on the skyscraper and stuff, or on
he like essentially got it right before that, because M says when they're walking through the MI6, she says I granted him 00 status, and he celebrates by blowing up an embassy.
Yes. Okay. So
it was literally like that was like his next mission.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah,
that guy. That's funny. It's funny that you say that, because like that guy's just like a throwaway character. He's like there.
Yeah, it was just weird.
5 minutes of screen time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Contact in that country that he was in, or something.
Yeah, he was in. That was in Madagascar. I wrote those. I wrote down all the countries that they were in. So Prague, he ends up killing the 2 guys in Prague, and then the Uruguay stuff happens with the Le Chef,
yeah.
And then Madagascar is the like chasing the burnt guy through the building.
Yeah, and like I was telling you, that was the first time that I ever saw like parkour. Like It's an interesting thing. I wrote down in the thing, how does Bond know the layout of the building under construction? Yeah.
So it's like the guy I can understand, because he might have like lived there, or like I don't know, just had been there for a while. So he's running and like he's taking stairwells and stuff. But Bond is taking all these like side things, which is making it look cool. Like he's taking less effort to get to the guy, but at the same time, it's like, how does he know? How does he know that like if he takes this doorway, it's going to lead? It was just funny. It was one of those things that like when you overanalyze the running scene, I was like, how is Bond? How does he know where to go? Like,
because there's literally that part where the guy's running on the floor underneath him, and he jumps down. He jumps through the elevator shaft.
Yes.
And then Bond like slides on the floor and slides through the hole, and he keeps going the same direction.
Right.
Like, how did you know which way he came out of the elevator?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I like it. I like the scene. I like the whole thing about it, but it was just funny when I was watching it. It's like, how does he know where he's going?
Well, that's the thing about every action movie, is it's like, man, this is really cool. This is a really cool chase scene. And then you're like, but that's not, you couldn't.
Like,
how is that?
That's not how that
works.
No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that chase scene too.
Yeah, it's cool, because then they use like real things, and I think I saw somewhere there wasn't a lot of like wire work and stuff. It was like actual people like climbing things, and kind of semi-dangerous. I think they had the safety bag stuff, but like underneath.
It's crazy. It's crazy though, they did all that stuff. Yeah.
So the first funny thing I wrote down that I didn't say to you last night, that I said I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
So I think it cuts to the scene of the whatever his name is, Lachef, whatever. He he's on his yacht and it's before he makes his line of like get the people off the boat or throw them overboard. So his lady friend is like outside and she's coming in, and the way that she opens the door and like comes in and closes it, the background behind her was terrible. It like really? You could clearly see it was like really like they had like cut her into this like fake background or whatever.
That's really funny.
I don't know. Are you going to be able to go and like find stuff or no? You don't.
I probably can. Let me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll write some stuff down that you're saying that I'll try to find.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, unless you've seen the movie recently, like that wouldn't stand out. It was a nothing scene, just her walking into a door.
Yeah, but, I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice that.
It was like really blatantly bad when I saw it. I was like, oh.
So clearly, like they used that yacht for like out scenes.
Right.
But then, like on the inside, it's just a set.
It probably was a set. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's super funny. Yeah, that's.
Then you noticed the Ford. That was funny. That made me laugh.
Yeah, like, So he's in the Bahamas, right? So like the first time you're seeing like James Bond drive, he's in the Bahamas. He's driving up, and he's in a Ford Focus. It's like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny to see Bond kind of like in a commons man car type of thing. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, so Ford must have paid for the endorsement on that.
Yeah. Probably Sony owns Ford or something too.
Sorry, I got a coffee delivery.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was just funny. It's just funny to see Bond in the first time he's driving a little Ford Focus around the beach. I'm like, what is that? That's not an Aston Martin.
No, but
yeah, but
so I looked it up last night too. The Mads Mikkelsen's character. I'm just gonna call him Mads.
Yeah.
I looked up what that means, and it means the number. That's what his name means, the number. So
I
guess because he's like a stocks mathematician guy, like you said, it must be. Like,
what is M? M calls him. She called him a mathematical genius. What she called him. So that's why he uses like poker to try to win back all that money that he lost in the plane. So yeah, basically, real quick, his whole plan, right, was to blow up that Skyfleet that new airliner.
Right.
His plan was to put all the stocks against it, which he borrowed all that money from the basically like the rebel soldiers from
Uruguay. Yeah.
And so they were going to blow up the plane, put stocks against it, and then win back like all this money from stocks.
Right.
So you go ahead.
I was just going to say that the Mr. White character or whatever.
Yeah.
He clearly was from because we never get that. That's not like answered that I caught in the movie. So it's like clearly this Mr. White guy works for somebody who has connections to the Uruguay people.
Right.
And they allow Mads Mikkelsen's character just to interact with these two to essentially take the money to pay the bomb guy and other things. Like they used clearly the money to get like a airport uniform and like mess with the codes and stuff, or they just to find out what the code was.
Right. So how that breaks down is that the guy in Uruguay from the very beginning that Bond chases, he's the bomb maker. That the guy from the Bahamas, I forget his name, the guy it's him and his wife are in the Bahamas.
Oh, Mr. Demetrius.
This is Mr. Demetrius. Mr. Demetrius hired the bomb maker from Uruguay.
Oh, okay.
But then after the embassy gets blown up by the 007, right? Lachef doesn't trust Demetrius anymore. So then he hires that different guy at the airport to take the bomb and blow up the plane. It's how I understood what was happening.
I think so. I think that's if if it's not that, it's very close
Yeah.
to what that is.
Because Bond kills Demetrius at the airport.
Yeah, he like kills him at the museum thing.
Oh, it's the museum. Yeah, which is that's a cool scene because it's like this up close personal battle. It's basically like it's a knife fight in public around people without showing people that you're both trying to kill each other. It's like a spy versus spy, thing. That's a pretty cool scene.
Oh, did I not write it down? I must not have wrote it down. I must have thought it and not wrote it down. But the cool thing is I'm glad I remembered it because it was a cool thing. You said it last night, was that like, man, that's a really interesting, like tight struggle to not like draw attention, but also like they're fighting to the death essentially.
Yeah.
And I was thinking it was like a nice little, I don't want to say callback, but it was a nice reference to their poker game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like Bond like he reads him and he knows where it's going. And the other guy, like he over assumes, like he puts his Aston Martin in the thing, like clearly I'm not gonna lose this hand.
Right.
So again, he takes the knife to Bond, thinking clearly I got this guy, whoever this random guy is, I'm gonna kill him right now.
Yeah.
Bond's like, no,
yeah, exactly. Like I'm trained, right? With that poker scene, I enjoy that poker scene with Bond and Demetrius because, like I was telling you last night, as soon as Demetrius he takes out his checkbook and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll put another 40,000," and lady's like, "No, you can't do that." And he's like, "Fine, I'll put my car out there." And then she's like, "No, sir, you can't do that." And James Bond is like, "No, it's fine. It's fine. Just let him do it. Let him try to win his money back. It's fine." As soon as he said that, you say, "All right, I fold."
Yeah.
Because the minute that the guy is like, "No, let him place his cards a bet." No, that's fine. That's fine. You knew he had good cards at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Just walk away, dude. Just fold.
Well, I mean, that's I guess that's what I like about it is he's the Mr. Demetrius guy is too full of himself. Like he thinks he's too great, and Bond takes advantage of that. That's
what's interesting too is both of those scenes also show Bond's arrogance. But pay off for him in those scenes.
Right. It does end up working.
Because he's not dealing with Lachey yet. He's dealing with like essentially like the grunts for Lachey.
This is kind of true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, because if you think about it in the poker game and the knife fight thing, it's like there's a term for it. It's like little. It's like you know what I mean? Like that's easy pickings type of thing.
Right.
Because when you take him winning the Mr. Demetrius poker game and comparing it to Mads Mikkelsen's poker game, it's like, oh, you don't actually understand his tell. Right. You don't know what his actual bluff is.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is when he's kills Mr. Demetrius in the museum, but now he's about to go kill Mads Mikkelsen, and he has to deal with this guy with a huge machete.
Yeah.
And he kind of doesn't really make it.
Yeah.
He has to fight him in the stairwell. So it kind of like it's a cool little.
Yeah. And that scene that you're talking about specifically shows off not his arrogance, but his not being fully immersed in like his job yet. Exactly. Right? Because like any other James Bond movie, he would be like, "Oh, bad guys are coming." He grabs the girl and starts kissing her. Right. So they just keep kissing in the stairwell, whatever.
Right.
But he faces the wrong direction. And they can see his earpiece.
Oh yeah.
Because instead of going this way, they go this way. And as he walks by, he sees his earpiece. And that's like immediately like a telltale, like, if that guy's got an earpiece, then that's not normal.
Right.
So it's one of those, like, his Bond's quick thinking, but then
was not like quite.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I like that scene too. Like that, like we were saying, that shows his not, being fully used to being on missions and stuff yet,
right. Yeah
little things like that. It's like he almost got away with it.
Yeah, it's the funny thing is I don't remember Quantum of Solace too much. I don't remember the plot of it.
Well, I can't wait to watch it because I had no idea.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But the thing I kind of think about is like I don't remember Skyfall and Spectre being. I don't remember him being so like, let's just say clumsy. Let's just
Yeah.
say. I don't remember him being like that. So I don't know. It's an interesting. I wonder how the next movie's going to be because is he going to be better, but just still a little bit, and like as the movies goes on, he just becomes like more and more like actual James Bond,
Right.
where like stuff happens to him, but it's not like it's
Yeah.
like over the top stuff that happens rather than his error.
Right. Yeah, like the only thing I can really remember, and I don't even remember which one it is when he gets shot off the train.
Oh yeah, I think that's Spectre. I
Right.
think the other lady shoots him right on accident.
Yeah. Because he comes back to being Bond after that, and he's supposed to be like too
That's
old
right.
to be.
That's right. Wow. Yeah, I forgot.
But
That's
yeah,
right.
I don't remember. I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, it's just not normal for Bond movies for him to be kind of clumsy in a sense.
Yeah.
But then I was just saying before I turn the page here, the funny thing is that you and I talked about was how the CD in the camera
Oh yeah.
room it says July 6, 2006.
Yeah.
And he's looking for 1912, which ends up being 7 o'clock at night
Yeah.
in the Bahamas.
Right.
And then he, time like you said, it was like the day before or something.
Yeah.
He goes, he has like the night with Mrs. Demetrius.
Right.
And then it's like, and then he goes to, or maybe it was the same night, and he flies to Miami.
He follows him to Miami. Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he kills Mr. Demetrius. He's coming out of the thing. He's trying to find where the guy took the bag.
Yeah.
And he calls him. If he goes to do it, it's like it's the exact same day and time.
Yeah.
It's just
the phone.
like,
It's literally like the same exact phone. I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think they used the same exact phone, and they used the same exact visuals of him going into the messages where it says ellipsis. It's the same text. It's the same exact text message.
Yeah. So they just used they didn't have Daniel Craig looking at the phone again in Miami.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we'll use what he did in the Bahamas. Oh yeah.
Let me.
That's probably exactly what happened.
I will look that up to see if I can get both scenes.
Like both side by sides. Yeah, that would be great. That would be really good.
Because he's in Uruguay the first time he's got the bomb maker's phone, and he looks through it and the message says ellipsis.
Yeah.
And when he goes to the Bahamas, he's looking at the phone, the same text message to see ellipsis, and it tells him what time the guy checked in.
Yeah.
And then when he's at the airport, it's the same. I wonder if it's almost the same exact scene of him looking at it.
It's him going beep, beep, beep.
And they darken the background to make it look like he's at night at the airport looking at the phone.
Man, I really wonder. I hope you can find the clips or whatever. That would, because that's really cool actually.
It's just one of those small things that like the prop department's like, just use the same. We already designed the phone and designed the text message. Just use the same thing, whatever. Because
right.
It's like it's the same exact. It's almost like it's the same exact like CGI or whatever they use for like.
Yeah.
The tech.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it doesn't affect the movie in any way. We understand what's happening, but it's just really funny. Yeah,
because it's literally almost the same. I'm telling you, like he scrolls down to messages, clicks on messages, and looks at ellipses. It's like the same. It's got to be exactly the same. Yeah, I'll try to.
I really hope it is.
That's really funny. So then he's at the airport, and so I was telling you, like, man, this is pretty good chasing for just being on the same tarmac the entire time.
I know.
They're literally just driving. Like you were saying, it's like Indiana Jones with the big truck and
yeah.
Indiana Jones with the airplane. They're just kind of
going around, right? Yeah.
But it's a cool chase scene.
No, it's really good. Yeah, I mean, it actually has really good tension building, and it's a kind of a believable fight scene to get the guy out of the car.
Yeah.
Because you have like the two ends of the scope. You have like let's just say Indiana Jones, where it's like this guy's driving the thing and he goes bam, and it's just like that guy's immediately knocked out, and now he has the control of the truck. And then you have this movie where it's like he's like hits him, and the guy's just like, no, that's okay, I'm just gonna keep doing this. Yeah. So it's a more believable struggle for Bond to try to stop the fuel tank.
Because then when he gets it like lined up with the plane, he wraps the seatbelt through the handle, so like he can't turn the wheel. Yeah. And he bails. But then again, it shows Bond's almost his arrogance of like dealing with these small fry guys that like, yeah, I already took the bomb off the thing and put it on your belt, dude. Like, I'm just trying to stop the truck. I'm not worried about the bomb being on the truck. The guy's all like cocky at the end when he's getting arrested, and he calls the thing to blow up the explosive.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Is kind of a weird. That's really interesting that you say that because he's already clipped the bomb onto him.
Yeah.
So at this point, he's just trying to stop the fuel truck from crashing into the plane. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about it like that.
Because, like, as the audience, you're like, well, even if he stops the truck before it hits the plane, like, there's still a bomb. And then you're like, oh, no, he already, when he was, like, hanging off the side, he saw it and grabbed it and unhooked it. And then while they're fighting in the cab, he's, like, clipping it on the belt. It's probably, you know what it is? It's probably that scene where the guy goes to bail out, and he literally grabs his belt and pulls him back in.
He's like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't, because, I didn't think like the plane was going to blow up because I didn't remember the plane blowing up. But I did have like that, like, audience moment where, okay, they're arresting Bond and the guy's over there doing the thing. And I was like, yeah, so what? You stop the thing, like it's going to just blow up. And then I was like, I don't remember the plane blowing up.
Yeah. Yep. So then Shafe loses all that money. He invested like millions towards like like that airliner failing.
Do you remember the guy, the other vehicle couldn't swerve? He didn't.
Oh yeah.
He couldn't deviate from the line.
When Bond's hanging on the side, the other guy's he's working. He's just like, oh, I don't know. I always drive in the same lane every night. I don't know what to do.
Even if I see a person hanging from a truck, I can't swerve away from it. I have to hit him.
And like you were saying, like just picture all the people like on planes waiting to take off. And like, what is going on? And they're looking out the window and it's just like there's a truck slamming through luggage racks and fuel tankers are blowing up. And
like, it's crazy in Miami. It's crazy.
This is a crazy thing. I thought Hancock was bad.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't end up being a thing. I thought the woman, Mrs. Demetrius, knowing his name was James, was going to be a thing, but so far it hasn't been.
I think it is because remember when he checks into the hotel and he's supposed to be undercover as like Mr. Beach or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He says, I'm checking in as James Bond. It's under Beach, and Vespa gets mad at him because like shows how arrogant he is. But he's like, he already knows my name. He already knows who I am. If he's as smart as he is, he already knows who I am. Because then when he goes into the poker match, Shafe is the same person, this first person that comes up to him and says, Mr. Bond, or is it Beach? I'm confused. And James Bond says, well, we wouldn't want that, would we? And he walks past him. So it's kind of like they tortured Mrs. Demetrius for intel, right? So she knew his name was Bond.
Interesting.
She knew his name was Bond, and her husband got the call that he was going to Miami, and Bond left Miami right after.
About that.
So I think that's the only two things that he gave her.
Yeah, I mean, really, I didn't put two and two together like that he would clearly. So he just lies to M when she's like, "Oh, this thing." He's like, "Nope, nothing." Like she's just lying. I see.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that.
Because basically he knew that like Shafe already knew that his name was James Bond.
Yeah,
and he probably already knew he worked for MI6 because whatever. So instead of Bond going to that resort and going to the poker match and being like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm this guy," and lying, it's like, "No, I'm just gonna be myself. I don't whatever." He's a genius, so he's already gonna know, and if not, who cares? I'm here to kill him anyway. Like I don't.
True. Yeah. The thing that I thought was interesting is that they say in the movie that, I mean, in universe that 9/11 was basically another LaShafe thing.
Yeah,
like he did something with the airlines again, and I think what it was is perhaps he knew it was going to happen, and so he went and sold stock or bought something. He did something with the airline stock because he knew 9/11 was going to happen.
Yeah,
or something to that effect.
Yeah, it was an interesting tie-in for sure.
Yeah.
Let's
see. Oh yeah, I wrote down that I think they touch on it in Skyfall. for the first time. Maybe not. Maybe they talk about it more in the next movie. But he's called an orphan.
Oh yeah.
The accountant lady Vesper says like, oh, she reads him and says, well, you're clearly an orphan.
Yeah.
Which I think we end up finding out in Skyfall that's. Yeah. I mean, it's true to the degree that he's adopted, but he's still an orphan.
Yeah, and I really like the two of them together.
Yeah,
I was saying like there's these two smart people. They're like two Sherlock Holmes, and they're both reading each other. Like on the train when they first meet, they're both reading each other and like figuring out about them. And there's a scene before the poker game where like he has a dress picked out for her to wear.
Oh yeah.
He goes out and there's a jacket, like a dinner jacket for him to wear.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's tailored. Like it's tailored. And she's like, oh yeah, I measured your inseams from just talking to you on the train.
Right. Yeah.
So like I like that. I like the two smart people like figuring each other out basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It was really cool actually. Yeah, no, I like the whole she's kind of like that. Well, clearly why I think he actually falls for her is because she's actually like, can keep up with the way he thinks and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then so like that whole thing that seemed to me is so funny where like his plan is to have her look her best and come out to distract all of the other poker players. But what happens is he's the one that gets distracted.
Exactly.
That's pretty funny.
And it's funny because like in the moment you just think she likes James and she's just getting him, but then as the movie plays out, you find out that she's working for Lashif, so it's kind of like the plan of distracting everybody is used against him, more or less.
Yeah, it's a really that's why I think that's why this one is one of my favorites is because first of all it's an entire James Bond movie, right, where there's not a whole lot of action and it's mostly just playing cards. Like they're just playing cards. Like they're playing this high stake game, of poker, and like everybody is like working for their own purposes, right? Like,
well, yeah,
obviously he's working for MI6. He wants to like prove himself, but then you have like Mathis. He's working for MI6, but he's also working for Lashif.
Right.
Like setting everybody up, and then her Vespa, she's got her whole other thing where like she's trying to like give the money to like a ransom for James Bond not to be tortured and to try to atone for her boyfriend being killed by Lashif. It's like this whole
right. Yeah. No, I think it's a really good imagery for like a poker game overall, right? I mean, you have people like bluffing and like they're making you believe it's this, but it's not really that. And it's like it's really like the Kenny Rogers song, like no one to hold them, no one to fold them. It's very much the whole movie is orchestrated like a card game, like a poker game essentially.
Yep. Yeah, what's the line that Bond says? I'm trying to find it. He says in poker you never play your hand, you play the man's across from you.
Yeah.
So like it's like a game of like reading each other. It's not about cards. It's not about cards at all. Yeah,
it's true.
So Shafe basically tricks Bond into thinking like his tell. His tell is like when he does like when he's doing this at the table or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's like his tell. But Bond told Mathis that night that's his tell. So then the next day at cards, Shafe is doing that, and Bond goes all in, and Shafe was like screwing with him the whole time.
Right.
Because that's how Bond puts it together at the end that Mathis is bad. He's working for Shafe because like that's the only person he told his tell to.
Well, no, he tells Mathis next to Vesper.
Oh yeah, so they both knew.
Yeah, so Vesper ends up being the bad person. I don't think Mathis was bad.
Really?
I think that's why he shows up at the hospital, and he's not, like you said, why isn't this guy just running into the night? Why isn't like it didn't work out? He's clearly a good guy, and Bond's like, "Gotcha, buddy." And he must get security or somebody. I don't think it was MI6. He gets somebody to like take him out, maybe maybe Montenegro police.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the thing. All the things he's saying to Mathis at the bar, she's overhearing.
So maybe he's not.
I don't think he's bad.
Because
I think they play it up until the moment he realizes, oh, wait a minute. Until basically M calls him and says, we didn't get the money. He doesn't realize that she's the bad guy. Because she is Lachey lies to him. Lashif lies to him after the car accident. He says, oh, you thought Mathis was the thing? It's like, that's not true at all. It's the woman. It's Vesper.
Huh.
She's the double agent.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about it. I almost was under the assumption they were both in their own way playing like for themselves.
It's possible he was kind of dirty, but I think after the whole reveal that she took the money and that she had like nefarious things, and I think there's a line of dialogue where it's like basically she was working for Lashif.
Because M like explains to Bond like what her whole situation was.
Right.
But she never says anything about Mathis.
Yeah, so I don't think he was.
And Mathis is an MI6 agent.
Yeah. No. Was he? Yeah, you're right. You're right. He was in intelligence.
He works for the intelligence operation. Right, and Vesper is the she works for Her Majesty's Treasury.
Right, so you could see that Lachey would have Mads Mikkelsen's character would have hands into the British government, less so in like MI6. He wouldn't necessarily have like agent.
So even in the torture scene, if that's the case, then even in the torture scene, he's still like telling Bond that like Mathis is the bad guy, so that Vesper can still like give him the money, because in the torture scene, she not, I don't know if she's being tortured, but she basically tells them that like, I will give you the 120 million.
Oh yeah,
and then just don't hurt Bond.
Right.
But that doesn't even happen anyway, because Mr. White comes in and shoots everybody.
Right. Exactly.
So it's almost like, yeah, exactly. Like, who does he work for? Where, because he said it's more about trust than the money. And
right. Exactly.
He eliminates Shafe.
So she's probably off scene. She's off chamber, wherever they were, just yelling randomly, like, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
And he's like, and that's why Lachey's like, "Oh, we already got the account number. We already got that. So just tell me the password."
Yeah.
Because he knows she's working for him. He's playing up that she's being tortured, but he actually knows that.
Yeah. And I think
he already knows it.
I think that's why she cries in that scene, because the password was her name the whole time. Right. And it shows like how good of a guy James was, even though like she knew she's been setting him up from the beginning.
Right, exactly.
So even then, like, she knew that she still was going to steal the money, but she knew that he was like a decent person.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I kind of thought they both were dirty.
Yeah, they could have been, but I think I think it ends up being that Renee there, whatever his name is, Mathis.
Mathis.
Yeah,
but then
I think if it says, I was trying to read like the wiki synopsis for it, and I was trying to think if it says, so that's the thing. That's true. He leaves her alive. Mr. White leaves Vesper alive, which makes me think that she's working for she wasn't necessarily a Lachey person.
Yeah.
She was a person that Mr. White's connected to.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's almost like the money that she's paying off is something completely different. Because it's almost like at that point, like she knew like Lachey would be killed by Mr. White. So it's every time I say Mr. White, I think of Bryan Cranston.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like she's paying off like Mr. White's guys to not kill Bond.
Right.
Because that's literally the only two that were left. Because even that's even what like Mathis is asking Bond when he's like recovering in the chair. He's like, why did they leave you two? Like, why would it be you two?
Right. So, just a quick Google search: is Renee Mathis a bad guy? And somebody wrote, "No, he's loyal to MI6. This is their entire conversation is Vesper manipulating Bond so that he'll come after her."
Wow. So that's such a good double misdirect that like even I didn't pick up on that at the end, because I honestly was under the assumption they both were like double.
Right. Yeah. No, me too. I up until that point with the phone call, I totally forgot. I remember when I was watching, I was like, I thought she was a bad person. I don't remember her being good. Because the whole like drowning in the elevator thing. I was like, I remember that for some reason she felt like she had to die. But then I was like, I don't know. And that was the same thing. But I got confused. I confused Mathis's character with the Felix character. I thought he was the switcheroo, but it wasn't. It was neither of them. It was the woman.
Right. Yeah, because Felix works for the CIA.
Right.
Yeah. And that's really funny too, because it's he gives Bond's basically like, okay, yeah, you can have him. Like he won the poker game. He's like, you guys can have him. He's like, thank you, and that was like it. It never went anywhere from that.
Right, and he doesn't get him because Mr. White kills him. So he doesn't. They don't arrest him. So
typical CIA, it takes him way too long to get there to arrest the guy, and he's already gone.
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole scene. Man, how would they have known? Because now you think about it, right? He's in the thing. He's won the poker game. They go back to the room, and she says, "Oh, hold on, I gotta go. Mathis wants to talk to me."
Yeah.
He goes, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
He thinks that perhaps Mathis has been, betraying him this time. That's how stuff was happening.
Well, she says she says the first text she get is from like Fox or not Felix, and she said U.S. is moving in on him in the morning.
Right.
And then the next one was from Mathis, and she says Mathis needs me for something. And then like you're saying, James Bond is like, why would Mathis? And then he like puts together like, I told him to tell, and then that's how Shafe beat me. So he like immediately goes to Shafe because he's already invested in Vesper.
Right.
Yeah.
But now it's not what happened. It's just a setup to make him think she's kidnapped.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is they put her in the road.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
So what if Bond didn't swerve like that and just ran her over? I mean, that's a dicey move.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure by that point they've already gotten the account number from her. And like they were just all they needed was the password from him.
Yeah.
So I don't think they really cared. I think their plan was to kill her after she gave them the money anyway.
Probably.
No loose ends.
And then did you want to talk about that really lovely imaginary blood cleaning? That was really nice.
Oh yeah. No, I don't.
Yeah.
That's like the one scene in the movie where like you're watching it and like she feels like she's got like blood on her hands for, I don't know, knocking the gun out of the guy's hand or something.
Yes, yeah.
Because my first thing was like, wouldn't she be scared of Bond at that point? Because he just strangled two guys. Well, he strangled the one guy to death.
Right.
He's like, oh, I have blood on my hands because I helped get the gun out of his hand. And they're both in the shower, and he's like, oh, I got it. And he starts like sucking the blood off her fingers.
Perfect.
And he's like, yeah, is it gone? And she's like, yeah. I was like, this isn't endearing, romantic, or in any way whatsoever.
No.
Because you just go back to James Bond coming out of the ocean with his Speedo on, please. I'd rather watch that.
Yeah, I know, really. Maybe just put your arm around her and comfort her. You don't got to do something weird.
Can we just get to the torture scene where he gets?
Yeah, that's.
No.
Let's get to that quick.
As a guy, that scene is so hard to watch, and it's not just like once or twice. It's like every time. It's like, you're just like.
I mean, up until the point where he starts like enjoying it, let's say. In big quotations, but up until that point, man, it's rough. It's really. I don't think and that's the thing too. I don't think in any of the other Bond movies do they ever have like a scene like that where you were like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of the movies like really having like a gripping moment like that. I
Well,
could be
it's like-
wrong. I just don't remember.
It's like the bad guy quote that I always quote, no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. It's like, what was that? He had his arms on a thing and he was going towards a laser. And you're like, oh no. But this is like, it's so bad. It's so bad. And the first time you watch it, you're like, why are they cutting the seat out of the chair? And you're like, oh, he's naked. Why is he naked? Then he's got this big rope, this big like boat anchor rope. But he literally, I love watching that because it's like, it's awful. The first it's awful.
It's one of those things where it's awful, it's bad, but it's also like so memorable that it like becomes its own, like, no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. It becomes like its own memorable like Bond moment.
Right.
Where it's like anybody who's seen the movie, like that, they remember that.
That's the scene I remember everybody talking about.
Right,
like,
exactly.
I haven't seen the movie yet, and everybody's like, "Oh, how did you feel about that torture scene?" That was the thing everybody remembered.
Yeah.
But I love that though. I love how Bond is like in excruciating pain, but you can tell that he's like psyching himself up.
Oh yeah.
Where he's like, he's still, he's like laughing about it. He's like, instead of crying, he's like laughing, and he's like,
he's gearing his mind differently.
Like, no, to the left. He's like,
oh man,
and that like makes it so much worse for like Shafe. Is like, you're a really funny guy. You're a really funny guy, but it's like it's making him mad,
right?
And then they both start. I love when they both start laughing. They're both laughing, and he's like, "You're not gonna tell me no matter what." And he goes, "No, of course not. What are we doing?"
Yeah. You don't have to look it up. It would hurt your brain cells. Yeah. But after this movie came out, there was a movie called Meet the Spartans.
Oh.
Okay. Which is like the throwaway trash movies that came out. Those like not scary movie, but like those movies that made fun of like all the popular movies that came out during.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's called Meet the Spartans because 300 and Meet the Parents had come out around the time. So anyways, there's a scene, and I think it's like Taron Killam from SNL, and I don't know who's in the chair. I don't remember who it is, but it's this scene, and he's in the thing. But this time, instead of just like a really knotted, like long part of a rope, he has like chainsaws and hooks, and he's just like,
remember
yeah. It was the only thing in that movie I laughed at because I don't know. I don't even know why I saw it. I don't know why, but I went to theaters to see that movie.
Well,
I don't go and see any of the other Bond movies.
That was the era, dude, where like Scary Movie 2 and 3 were funny, and then after that they did like Not Another Teen Movies, and they did they were making fun of Signs. What was that stupid movie? They were awful. They were all terrible.
They're all bad. Oh yeah, they're really.
Then there was like Meet the Spartans, and then there was like the Big Fat Greek Wedding one.
Oh yeah,
just trash movies.
They had one here just a while ago. They had not. They had the one where it was like they were high school kids, but they were like X-Men characters were in there. Like they had Wolverine and Cyclops and stuff. Yeah, I get it, but at the same time, like it was bad.
But anyways, that audience doesn't even exist anymore.
No. Well, they do. I think they just don't go to movies to see it. They watch it on their phones and stuff.
Yeah.
They watch YouTube and TikTok.
Scary Movie 2 was probably like the last one that came out that was like a good, funny spoof movie.
Yeah.
After that, it was these are awful.
I would say the first one is much more just kind of like it's more shock value than comedy. I think
it's almost more faithful to the original movie.
Correct. Right.
It's like almost shot for shot Scream.
Right. But I think when the second one came out, they were like, well, now we can do crazy things because people come and see it who already went and saw the first one.
Yeah, it's insane. It's ridiculous. Oh man.
So the only two. Let me scan this quick and make sure before we end. Make sure I touched on everything. I didn't realize about. I didn't know about the saltwater thing. That was cool.
When he gets poisoned.
Yeah, I didn't know that was. I didn't know drinking that much salt water would induce vomiting.
It
It
has
makes
to be-
sense. It just
It has to be a lot. It has to be a lot, and I think that's why it didn't work. Because like he did throw up, but like you have to drink a lot of salt water for it to like induce vomiting.
So then he goes there, he tases him.
But that's just a cool story.
So
He's walking by the table and he grabs the salt shaker and the glass and he goes in the bathroom. Like,
yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't even remember that scene. I didn't remember him doing that. I thought he went right to the car. I didn't realize. I forgot he went in the bathroom.
Yeah, he should have gone to the car first and called MI6.
Yeah,
because that's.
I think it doesn't. Don't they say in the movie too? M says it to him that clearly they let him live. She fought to keep him alive.
Yeah.
Somehow she says it in the movie that because Vesper is the double agent.
Yeah, she would have let him die right then.
Right. And so there's a piece of dialogue about her doing that at whatever.
Yeah. So. No, because she did actually care about him. I mean, that was kind of what they were telling you.
So I wrote down Gettler, which was the name on the phone, which I think was just the I. Oh
yeah.
I think that was just that guy's name.
Yeah.
But I wrote that down. That was a name on the phone. And then the fight scene in the building. So I think the thing that probably we should end on, because obviously we're going to be setting up for Quantum of Solace.
Yeah.
Is so there's so all this stuff happens, but Mr. White is in the back. He's like behind all of it.
Yeah. He's always there.
And he ends up taking the money from which I'm assuming the glasses eye patch guy was connected to Mr. White somehow, because Mr. White ends up taking the money, but he wasn't like there in the fight scene. Like when the building was collapsing, he wasn't there.
He's literally, like I was telling you, like Mr. White is literally like the smoking man from what's the show? David Duchovny and
X-Files.
X-Files. Yeah, he's literally the smoking guy from X-Files. He's like always in the background, always watching, always making.
What's the other G-Man? Is that what his name is? From the Half-Life. He's like the business guy, always in the background.
Oh yeah, it's always a suit. It's always a suit.
It's always a suit. So he ends up taking it.
Yep.
And Bond ends up putting it together that this is the guy. He tracks him down and he shoots him in the leg, and then he says the signature James Bond thing.
Right.
So clearly, I'm interested to see what the next movie like peels back, like in connection to Mr. White, like why they wanted that much money. It's like $122 million.
Yeah, and that's like nothing in comparison to you know what I mean? I almost think Skyfall starts off right at that same scene, like right where that leaves off on the steps. Yeah, Mr. White. I thought so. Or the next,
because Quantum of Solace is next.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I meant.
It probably does. I
thought it did.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that's right. Quantum of Solace, then Skyfall.
Yeah.
So funny. I remember Skyfall more.
Oh, absolutely.
Quantum of Solace is like the desert movie where they're in the desert.
It's like I remember it's like oil and desert, and the thing explodes. And what's her name? She is the. It's in my brain. The Black Widow movie. Did you see the Black Widow movie?
Not yet. No.
I can't tell you, but she's the person in that movie.
All right.
The like Bond girl is somebody in the Black Widow movie. Her name is like Olga something. I can't remember it, but yeah.
Yeah, I gotta watch that this week. I just been putting it off.
Yeah. Well, I think now I think Black Widow
Disney.
And Shang-Chi are on Disney.
They're both on Disney Plus. Yeah.
So you can watch them both.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch
Black Widow is rough.
Yeah.
But I think you'll like Shang-Chi. It was pretty okay.
Well, I feel like all Black Widow's doing is setting up like her sister being Black Widow.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that was pretty much it. It's a really messy movie. We should have after you watch it.
Yeah.
We could sit down and talk about it. Yeah.
I think it probably mostly just suffers from coming out so late.
Oh, absolutely. That's the hugest thing.
It
needed to come out either in between Infinity War and Endgame or immediately after Civil War. It's it doesn't. It's the impact of what happens in that movie and choices that are made.
Nothing, because she's already dead.
Means nothing.
So when the first trailer came out, I was like, why? They should, if they wanted to give ScarJo her own movie, they should have done it forever. Why would they wait till like after she's got the big death scene?
It's the same thing with the Hawkeye series coming out too. I'm excited for it. It should be good, but it's like he's one of the 6 Avengers. Like, why didn't Black Widow and Hawkeye get their own thing? Like, I never understood that.
I think because most of the fan base doesn't care about Black Widow and Hawkeye.
I mean, yeah, I understand that they're not super interesting characters because they're just humans with really good skills of like archery and hand-to-hand combat. I get that.
I like Widow more than I like Hawkeye, too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle.
But that might just be because I'm not really in love with
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, he's fine. I mean, he's fine in the movies. I just hear he's kind of a jerk off of movies, but
he probably is.
I don't know how true that is. But like we were saying the other night, like all these Disney Plus shows that have been coming out, we're like, I don't really care about that. And then you watch them, like, this is amazing. This is so good. Like the storyline is so good.
I know.
So Hawkeye looks like a really cool, like father and daughter, like pass the torch movie.
Yeah, it really should be, honestly, pretty good. They have all been pretty decent. So yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that was a lot about Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Oh, and the casino that they were at, the casino that they played the high stakes game at, was the Casino Royale.
Oh yeah. I wonder if that's let me look this up. I wonder if that's like an actual building. Like if that's
I don't know. That was in like Paris, somewhere over in Paris, right?
Montenegro. I was in Montenegro. So that's in like it's its own country. Although the casino part of the storyline is set in Montenegro, no filming took place there.
Yeah.
A famous Czech spa named Lasne the first, I guess. I don't really know. Or Spa 1, the former Kaiserbad spa, was used as the exterior. So it's not it's not a real location.
Cool. Well, that's the thing with like ignorant Americans. You could film any building in Paris or France and be like, this is Montenegro. This is France. Like, all right. Yeah, that looks like France.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about over there really.
Oh, I guess there is a Casino Royale in Montenegro. They just didn't film there. I see.
That's cool though.
Oh,
that's cool.
Cool.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'm gonna end this, and then I'm gonna go enjoy a nice dry martini. 3 measures of Gordon, 1 vodka, half measure of what the heck is that? I totally ruined it. Yeah. What does he say?
Oh, yeah.
Dry martini, 3 measures of Gordon, 1 of vodka, half measure Kirilletta. Shake it over ice, then add a thin slice of lemon peel.
And I'll have one too.
Yeah, my friend, I'll take one as well.
I thought we were playing game. Yeah.
Even like you said, even the watcher wanted one of those drinks.
That's right.
Oh man! All right, dude. Thanks for joining me. This was fun.
Yeah, it was good. And we'll schedule whenever we can the quantum, and
it's funny because
we'll go through that.
Originally there was 4 to watch, and now we already watched one, and now there's 4 more.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing the next one because I don't remember like anything about it, and I feel like it really connects to Casino Royale. At least I hope it does. So it should be good.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I want to know the storyline. Oh, cool.
Especially with, I think we can probably end on this thought because especially from what I've read, right, it is No Time to Die is like his last movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he dies in No Time to Die or he just they pass the torch to somebody else or they're going to reboot the franchise again. I don't know, but
I don't know.
I think it's actually important to know what's going on because I think it's going to play into the latest movie, the final Daniel Craig movie.
Yeah, I know. Who would you real quick? Who would you want to be?
Oh gosh,
new Bond.
I mean, I'm a big fan of still picking British people. I don't think it should be an American person. We already have Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossibles for Americans. I don't need another American guy. I don't know. Everybody says Henry Cavill. I don't know. I like him. I don't have an issue with him. It's just I don't know if he's Bond. Honestly, I don't know. I know you and I laugh about this. I honestly think Idris Elba would be great. I'd like to see a black Bond, and I think he could play the part. He can play that like suave part and the tough part and the mean part. I think he'd be great, but
he's a big dude too. I mean, he'd be menacing,
right?
Like this,
but I don't know if he's like too old, and they want like a young guy, so they may end up picking some no name we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Idris Elba would be awesome.
Honestly. Yeah, I would like him a lot. I would be okay. I know a lot of people are angry about it, but I even would be fine with a female Bond. I don't really care. I don't care about that stuff.
That would be an interesting take.
Yeah, don't call her James Bond. That would be wouldn't want that.
Well,
call her something else.
Janet Bond.
Yeah, Janet Bond or whatever. Yeah, I don't care.
Uniqua Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way. That would be a cool take on it. I mean, he's been a chauvinist pig since 1965.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So no, I'd like the scene to be shaken and not stirred a little bit. So
get out.
I'll see myself out. Very good.
Get your things on the way out. Clean your desk out.
I'll clean it out. I won't come to work on Monday.
All right, good. All right, dude. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I will see you next time.
See you next time.
All righty.